Yeah. So, is it, are you guys, is it changing for you?
No, it's not. Click on the screen itself and then press the arrow. Now it's changing. Now it's changing. Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Yes, so something you cannot live without. And we already gave it away, didn't we? Air. Let me give you a little bit of facts about air. Wilderness guides often refer to the rule of 3, which says that we can live without food for 3 weeks, without water for 3 days, but we cannot live without air, not even for 3 minutes without it causing some kind of damage. And the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So you see, something we really just cannot live without. So when God formed man from the dust of the ground, he breathed that air into them. He gave it to them in their nostrils. It's called the breath of life. And that is how now, we can move, live, and breathe. And in him we have, it's in God that we can also live, move, and breathe. But so he's given us that life invigorating air that is free. Air is important in all facets of our lives. Air is vital to the human body, and pure, fresh air is of greater importance as it determines much of our well-being. In order to have good blood, we must breathe well. We must take full, deep inspirations of pure air, which will fill our lungs with oxygen, and it also purifies the blood. So, so if you really want, you see how in the picture, how the girl has her hands up in the air, turned up, and you put your chin up, and as you breathe in, it actually expands your lung capacity. And so then you can fill your lungs with more air, thus sending more pure oxygen into your blood as well. So you must try that sometimes. What are some of the, let's see what some of the importance of air. Let's see what it does. It invigorates the mind. It boosts the intellect. It enhances circulation. Air helps to regulate body temperature. Air helps to remove toxic waste. It is also life-giving, and best of all, how much does it cost you? It's free. It costs you absolutely nothing. So it also helps to increase your immune system. It decreases inflammation. It increases energy by 90%. It reduces stress. Air also helps to improve your mental health. It lowers your risk for depression and anxiety. It increases your endorphins and your serotonin levels. Those are your happy hormones. It decreases the risk for diseases such as high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and it helps to prevent premature death because you're giving all those cells and tissues and organs a full amount of oxygen, which is needed. So if we are not getting the proper supply of oxygen within our body, we can get something called hypoxemia. So breathing of air supplies the body with oxygen, and it eliminates carbon dioxide. Blood carries oxygen to the cells throughout your body to keep them healthy. Hypoxemia occurs when levels of oxygen in the blood are lower than normal. If blood oxygen levels are too low, your body may not work properly. Hypoxemia can cause mild problems such as headaches and shortness of breath. So sometimes, we just have to, as if we have any of these symptoms, process of elimination, get some go by the window or, and get some oxygen, or just breathe in a little deep and see if it will eliminate some of your headaches. So if you're having shortness of breath, those are some of the things. And if it doesn't help, then of course, you would want to look at doing other things as well. When your body doesn't have enough oxygen, you could get hypoxemia or hypoxia. Okay, so I already read that. Hypoxia, it's low oxygen in the blood, and it can cause hypoxia, low oxygen in the tissues. When your blood doesn't carry enough oxygen to your tissues to meet your body's needs. These are dangerous conditions because without oxygen, your brain, liver, and other organs can be damaged just minutes after symptoms start. So always be aware and alert that you're getting enough oxygen. It also helps with the circulation of blood. So in order to have good health, we must have good blood. The blood is the current of life. It repairs waste and nourishes the body. When supplied with the proper food elements, and when cleansed and vitalized by contact with pure air, it carries life and vigor to every part of the system. The more perfect the circulation, the better will this work be accomplished. What are some other things that improper blood circulation can cause? What other illness? Can it cause illness? Yes. Circulation should not be hindered by tight clothing or bands, or by insufficient clothing of the extremities. Did you know that if you have tight clothing, you can restrict your circulation, and it can cause you to have insufficient, and it will hinder the circulation within your body. Also, if you don't have enough clothing on and you have your extremities are all exposed, you should always wear maybe some light cotton clothing, something that breathes, even long sleeve, to help with the flow of blood and not congesting up your vital organs. So whatever hinders circulation forces the blood back to the vital organs, causing congestion, headache, cough, palpitation of the heart, and or indigestion, just by not wearing proper clothing, or one of the things that can cause these things. In order to have good blood, we must breathe well. Full, deep inspirations of pure air, which the lungs fills the lungs with oxygen, and it purifies the blood. They impart to it a bright color and a life-giving flow to every part of the body. So just think, when you breathe deeply, and even sometimes if you have patients that are having issue and they start to get a little, cyanotic, a little bit blue around the lips or even your fingernails, sometimes we just tell them to take some slow, deep breaths, and you see that color come back. So that is why you see that it imparts a bright color and life-giving flow to every part of the body. Good respiration soothes the nerves, stimulates the appetite, and renders digestion more perfect. So good respiration and good, healthy, pure air helps, it aids in digestion. And just when you think, wow, how air is just so excellent for us, there's a bonus. It also induces sound, refreshing sleep. So make sure that you go out there and you get your fresh air. It is very helpful. Shallow breathing increases blood pressure and increases heart rate. So do you know that if someone has blood pressure, they can regulate it by proper breathing? Yes, they can. So longer breaths, both inhale and exhale, slows the heart rate and decreases your blood pressure. Slow, deep breathing techniques activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which manages the heart rate and effectively dilates the blood vessels, lowering the blood pressure. And did you know that even out there, the industry knows this all too well, that they even invented a machine called a respirate to regulate breathing and to lower blood pressure. But God has given us the best machine ever. So if we utilize it, our two lungs, and we inhale and go out there and get fresh air, it actually would work even better than that machine that they have invented. Aren't we fearfully and wonderfully made? Did you also know that the strength of the system in a great degree is dependent on the amount of pure fresh air that is breathed in? Pure fresh air is necessary for mental alertness. Air is a free blessing of heaven, calculated to electrify the entire system. Air must be in constant circulation to be kept pure. So you must have your windows and things like that open. You must be in areas, have proper ventilation. So you must have proper circulation of that air. So, and as a result, sleeping rooms should be arranged to have a free circulation of air day and night. Let there be a current of air and an abundance of light in every room in the house. No room is fit for sleep if there is not proper ventilation. Pure fresh air, every cell in our body requires oxygen in order to function. So that includes your muscle cell, your fat cells, your brain, your bone cells, your blood cell, your stem cells, your nervous cells, your epithelial cells, your immune system cells, your sex cells. Every cell in your body requires oxygen. If the air we breathe is not pure, then we force our body cells to function on impure air. And do you know that even the American Lung Association has declared that up to half of all illness, how much did I say? Half of all illness are either caused or aggravated by polluted air. So your windows should be kept open and the blinds fastened back. So open those blinds as well. And the air, and let that air circulate freely for hours, if not all day throughout the house. Of course, if you live in places that is, in the winter months, then you may want to just leave it open like about an inch or so, but open it up a little bit more in the day, and at night just close it a little bit, leaving a little crack in the winter time. Pure air. Do you know that even as we're talking about pure air, this way the bed and the bed sheets will become thoroughly aired and impurities removed from the room. So rooms that are not exposed to light and air becomes damp. Various diseases have been brought on by sleeping in ill-ventilated rooms. Leaving the window open to sunshine and fresh air will destroy bacteria on bed mattresses and bed clothing. So when you get up, don't just make up your bed. You pull your sheets back, open up your windows, let the sunlight and let the air beat on your, on your clothing, beat on the mattress and everything to help kill some of that bacteria. Those who do not open the house, their home, to pure air are sometimes irritable and sluggish. It does affect your mental health. And especially when all the windows are closed, throughout the day in your home. So this may result in chronic sinus, conditions of the respiratory and other conditions of the respiratory, causing other respiratory issues as well. It would sometimes can cause lack of good sleep and other illnesses or difficulty staying alert. So at night, open the windows at least 1 inch to allow fresh air into your bedroom. What about if you're sick? How does it come into play, air? How does that work? Well, in pleasant weather, the sick in no case should be deprived of a full supply of fresh air. Fresh air is more beneficial to the sick than medicine in most cases, and is far more essential to them than even their food. Many times, the people may feel very much depressed and do not know why, because they are lacking. One of the reasons is because they're lacking fresh air. So a bit of pure air through their room would have a happy, invigorating influence on them. And do you know, like if you're feeling down and out and you just open the windows or you go outside, you go out, in the fresh air, right? And in nature, you see how calm you become and you start to feel better. If you were feeling sick, if you were tired and sluggish, it helps to, bring about a sense of alertness. It isn't, so getting fresh air is very important. So when you're in a closed room and you breathe in the same air over and over, it becomes impregnated with poisonous impurities and waste matter, which is thrown up from your body through your lungs and pores of the skin. And so that is what you will keep breathing in over and over and making you even worse. Many houses have no special provision for proper ventilation, and to secure it is difficult, but every possible effort should be made to arrange the sick room so that a stream of fresh air can pass through it day and night. And so in cases where, there's a sick in the house and, you must open the windows and the adjoining room as well, and doors. Ventilation shared with room that has improper, and the adjoining room, ventilation shared with room that has improper ventilation. So, if the rooms don't have proper ventilation, just open them and the room that is next to it as well. So many who have died of consumption and other viruses might have lived if they had breathed more pure air. Fresh outdoor air is as healing as medicine and leaves no side effects. When the children were in the wilderness, as they sojourned through the wilderness, there was always a continuous supply of open air for them. So where impurities would have harmful effect upon the dwellers in closed houses, but the strictest regard to cleanliness was required both within and without their tents. No trash was allowed to remain within or about the encampment. And so that is why, if you're doing compost, it is not good to have the compost open and have that decay in vegetables and fruits and things that's close to the house. You don't want that, those impurities, those noxious gases coming into your homes, causing diseases. And let us see what some ailment that can be caused by lack of fresh air. So the stomach, liver, lungs, and brain are all suffering for want of deep, full inspirations of air that would electrify the body and impart to it a bright, lively color, which alone can keep it pure and give tone and vigor to every part of the living machine. And even Florence Nightingale was aware of this. The mother of nursing, here's what she said. She believed that people who repeatedly breathed their own air without any new fresh air coming into a home would eventually become sick and then remain that way. Florence Nightingale believed that the exposure to foul odor would create noxious air that would need to be removed for the healing process in the person's body to begin. Air pollution and diabetes. Did you know that they had a correlation? Diabetes and obesity with air pollution. And so there's been human studies that show the risk of these. Animal studies show pollution as well. So your immune system, it causes disruption. It can cause disruption of your immune system. It can cause high blood sugar if you have air pollution, insulin resistance, more fatty tissue, glucose intolerance, more complications in rodents with diabetes. And these are all studies that have shown these things. So it also shows that, so for high blood pressure, sugar complications, mortality in people with diabetes, both type 1 and type 2. And so if you look at it, gestational diabetes as well, and higher body weight, these all affect you negatively when you have air pollution. How does improper air affect you for inflammation? Well, inflammation in the body can be caused by inhaling impure air, which can affect internal organs. Were you aware of that? In the presence of chemicals which cause LDL to oxidize, that is your bad cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, and indirectly cause inflammation as well. So inflammation plays a major role in the progression of atherosclerosis or hardening of the arteries. Do you know that every 5 quarts of blood passes through our lungs to get oxygen and to release carbon dioxide? That's every minute, 5 quarts of blood passes through our lungs to get oxygen and to release carbon dioxide. Other cells need oxygen, water, proper nutrition, and thorough cleansing for proper functioning. Oxygen is the one chemical essential for cells to create energy. And as I was talking about it earlier, many allow decayed vegetable matter to remain about their homes, sometimes even in your garbage cans or in your compost bins inside a home or even on your premises. They are not aware that there is, noxious gas that's arising from the decaying substance that is poisoning the air. So by inhaling the impure air, the blood is poisoned, the lungs become affected, and the entire system is diseased. Disease of almost every description might be caused by inhaling the atmosphere affected by these decaying substances. So sometimes, we have these things and we may not understand why we are not feeling well, but this can be a cause of why we're not feeling well. So when you look at in 2019, there were 38 megacities and urban areas with more than 10 million people living in it, the population. So currently, 54% of the population resides in urban areas. By 2020, or 2 billion people will have migrated to cities, placing an unprecedented pressure on the infrastructure and resources, particularly those related to water and also that of fresh air because of the crowding. So when you look at the chart, you see how many of these cities are, these urban cities, how many, how crowded they can be. Even our homes can have, our homes can affect, the things that we use in our homes can also affect the air, and such as air fresheners, plugins. The fumes from these can cause respiratory illnesses over time. Scented candles, this can cause lead poisoning. Did you know that scented candles has lead in them, so it can cause lead poisoning, and they are dangerous for infants, small children, and pregnant women. Radon gas, found especially in basements, is the second leading cause of lung cancer and lung disease. So testing can be done to see if there is radon gas in your home, and it can seep up through the concrete floors as well. So if you have, make sure that you always get them checked. Check your home if you have concrete floors or basements that are not well ventilated. You also have pesticides. So studies show correct of inhaling pesticides are correspondent to Parkinson's disease. So you know the stuff that you would spray on your lawn, or sometimes people may spray it on vegetables or on trees, so we have to be careful. Cleaning chemicals also can have a negative effect on causing one to be sick. So often cleaners and stovetop cleaners or sprays to your stove on the hot areas with chemicals can give off fumes that can be lethal. Nitroxide or nitroxide or sulfur oxides from small portable kerosene heaters. So you have to be careful about those gases coming out as well. Also, some paints have lead in them. They can cause brain injury. But today, most of the paints, if you ask, there's lead-free ones. But just make sure that you inquire. Asbestos. This increases the risk of cancer and lung disease. Mold. So you check your homes to make sure that there's no mold, there's no dampness anywhere. This can cause mucus buildup and sinus issues. Carpets, holes in the fumes and chemicals as well. Carbon monoxide or CO. Any burning flame can give off this harmful gas. Hemoglobin in the red blood cells binds preferentially and permanently to carbon monoxide. Then it can never carry oxygen again, so it damages your hemoglobin. So this can lead to death from asphyxiation. So just remember that, to make sure you check your homes for all of these things. And now they also have you can go and buy different little plugins and stuff that can read the carbon monoxide in your home, so there's little machines and stuff that you can use now just to ensure that, that the levels in your home. Were you aware that pet dander and feces, so if you have pets in the house, the feces and the dander, if you have pets in the home, you should have a litter box with antibacterial products. But you have to also remember that the children of Israel had to go outside the home to relieve themselves. So when we have the litter box, the sand in the box can control the odor, but the bacteria can drift through the home and circulate over a period, thus making the air impure. So that is why you want to have some antibacterial products as well, just to protect the purity of the air in the home. Do you know that you can make natural cleaning agents at home? So this will be like an all-purpose cleaner. So you can use, and you can take a screenshot of this: 2 cups of white vinegar, 2 cups of water, 1 teaspoon of liquid dish soap, 30 drops of lemon essential oil, 20 drops of peppermint essential oil. You can mix all the ingredients in a spray bottle, shake it to combine it, and you can spray your counters, your cabinets, your sinks, your toilets, and anywhere. And you don't have to worry about all that toxic effect from some of the cleaners that you can buy out there. And now, you can also take a screenshot of this deep cleaning toilet scrub. So what you would need is 1/2 cup of baking soda, a 1/3 cup of liquid dishwashing soap, a 1/4 cup of hydrogen peroxide, 30 drops of eucalyptus or tea tree oil, and these are essential oils, 3/4 cups of water. Mix all your ingredients together in a squeeze bottle and squirt in the toilet. Let it stand for 20 minutes and then you can scrub it up. And it will be squeaky clean. So you may want to know, so how can I get my fresh air? Yes, let's go there and get some fresh air. So walking early in the morning, exposed to green space. So if you go for your walk early in the morning, the air is nice and clean and fresh before, all of the vehicles and stuff, gets on the road and the industries are open. So if you go early in the morning, is the best time. Also, make sure, try to walk where there's a lot of green space. You can also, at night, remember to leave your windows open. Do proper breathing techniques as well. As you're, inhale slowly and deep, walk with it. Make sure you have good posture. So, make sure your shoulders are up as you're walking. And, and also as you do that, not only do you help to get good oxygen into your body and to help you with pure blood, but it also purifies your soul with grace. It keeps you calm and you feel just wonderful. The Lord purifies the heart. The Lord purifies the heart with much. Sorry, I'm not seeing the screen. Sorry about that. The Lord purifies the heart very much like we air a room. So we do not close the windows, the doors and windows, and throw some purifying substance. But we open the doors and throw wide the windows and let heaven's purifying atmosphere flow in. The Lord says, "He that doeth truth cometh to the light." John 3:21. The windows of impulse, of feeling, must be open toward heaven. The dust of selfishness and earthliness must be expelled. The grace of God must sweep through the chambers of the mind. The imagination must have heavenly themes for contemplation, and every element of nature must be purified and vitalized by the Spirit of God. So just as the Lord purifies our hearts, so He's given us air that does the same thing as well, purify our bodies. So air in clean atmosphere contains 20% oxygen, but in the city, there is less. So move out of the city, and we've been also given that permission to leave the city and come into the country where there is a lot of green, a lot of trees, so that you can get that nice, pure, fresh, invigorating air. Increase vitamin C as well. This destroys pollutants and poisons produced by bacteria. Increase your vitamin A and E. And these are some of the ways that you can counteract air pollution. Neutralize pollutants by retarding cellular damage. Vitamin A also protects your mucous membrane, the mucous membrane of the lungs. Vitamin E and zinc prevents lead absorption. So, sometimes you have no choice. You're living in the city, but these are some of the things that you can implement to help you to get that nice, clean, fresh air and to purify even your body. Shower often. Wash your clothes to remove fine air particles. Exercise outdoors away from heavy traffic so that you're not inhaling all that pollutant from, the car exhaust. Wear facial mask when necessary. Walk short distances instead of driving. All of these things are very helpful. Did you know that plants can also limit your air pollution? So if you have a you can also take screenshots of some of these plants and you can have them in your home. So shade and weekly watering. If you use the peace lily, that's all it needs to survive, and it also produces beautiful bloom. Did you know that NASA it is one of the top on their list for removing 3 of the chemicals: formaldehyde, benzene, and trichloroethylene. It also can combat other air pollutants as well. What about the spider plant? And it can also have your home looking quite elegant. So, and these, the spider plant is very resilient. So even if you don't have a green thumb, it's very easy to care for, and it makes your house look beautiful, and it gives you that tiny white flower, right? And it also helps to battle benzene, formaldehyde, carbon monoxide, xylene, which is a substance used in leather, rubber, and printing industries. Golden pathos. This is another one. It helps in tackling formaldehyde. So when you look at it, it's beautiful how you can have it hanging and it cascades over. Very lovely. You could also keep it in your garage because it is known to stay green even when it is kept in the dark. Isn't that? So you see, it is a very resilient plant. You can get the snake plant, which is also known as mother-in-law's tongue. So, and it is one of the best for filtering out formaldehyde. It is common in cleaning products such as toilet paper, tissues, and personal care products. So you can put one in your bathroom, it thrives even when there's low lighting, even in steamy, humid conditions, while helping to filter out those air pollutants. Then there's the rubber tree. It comes in different colors. So this is also this is one of the plants that will produce lots of oxygen, more than any other plant. So in addition to producing oxygen and eliminating toxin, the rubber tree effectively removes mold spores and bacteria from the air as well by up to 60%. Fighting off mold and bacteria is a part of the plant's defense mechanism to protect its soil. Wow. So you see, that's a must to have in the home. Then you have the Chinese evergreen. It is happy in any kind of lighting, and it is known to increase productivity and also concentration and memory, while also reducing stress and boosting your mood. It comes in a wide variety of shades and colors: pink, red, orange, yellow, gray. And not only does it help with concentration and memory and all of that, it also helps with getting rid of those air pollutants as well from the home. Your benzene and formaldehyde, carbon monoxide, etc. So, so there's quite a variety of plants we can have to get rid of these pollutants in our air. Then there are others, and this is still, there's still a whole lot more. This is not an exhaustive list. So you can also Google and find them, more plants if you like. So you can take a screenshot of this, the weeping fig, bamboo plant, pala palm, etc. So just take a screenshot and see, that where you can find some of these plants in the area in which you live and put them in your home to help to combat pollution and to help give you nice, clean, pure, fresh air. Air, the precious boon of heaven, which all may have, will bless you with its invigorating influence if you will not refuse its entrance. Welcome it, cultivate a love for it, and it will improve a precious soother of the nerves. It refreshes the body, while at the same time its influence is decidedly felt upon the mind, imparting a degree of composure and serenity. It also induces sweet, sound sleep. Air is essential to our life. Breathing pure air is not only pleasant, but also helpful. We need a constant supply of fresh air to maximize our health. So choose to spend time outdoors in the country area and open your home daily to that pure air which gives vigor and elasticity to our faculties. So I just want to say thank you all for listening, and if you have, thank you everyone. And I hope that, the presentation was, you learned a lot today, that it was informative.
Thank you so much, Sister Liz. Now, this has been an amazing presentation. Do we have any questions for Sister Lystra Sodhi? Thank you, my dear, for presenting. That was such powerful information. I know I learned a lot. I've done this before, but it's always amazing what we learn every time we go over this material. And so at this time, we're open for questions. If you have any questions, you can type them in the chat, or you can just open your mic and go ahead and ask your questions. Sister Liz, there's a question about wearing a mask.
Oh yes, well, if you're in a place where the air is polluted, you would want to wear some face masks depending on where you are. Or if there is, if somebody is also very sick, if they're coughing and all of that, you may also want to put on mask, because that means that the air would be, it would be polluted as well with, the bacteria or the virus, whatever the person may have. So that is when you would want to put on a mask, when you're in those situations. And there is another, it says, can I simply use bleach to clean the toilet? Well, you can, but it's the toxic effects. Again, it is an irritant, and it also affects, it can also affect your health. I actually know someone that, when they throw the bleach in the toilet, and the fumes from the bleach, it actually affected their eyes, and it gave them breathing problems long term. So we just have to be careful, so we're just trying to give you things that would be less harmful to the environment, but also to your health and to your body. Any other questions?
All right, I think that's it. Everything was well explained. The compost outside.
Was about throwing compost outside. If you're going to be throwing compost, it should not be close to the house. It should really be, away from a distance from the house, so that the air, normally you would put it in a compost bin, and leave it there for a while. And so that is helpful. If it's far away from the house and you throw it in like a garden or something, but not close to the house, you don't want the toxic air from that decomposing from the decomposing vegetable or fruit particles to be inhaled. If it's too close to the house, it can cause diseases. Pardon?
Okay. There.
Hold on.
Thank you. Were you finished with?
Hello?
Can
I ask a question, please?
you hold a second, please, my sister?
Okay.
Sister Lystra, were you finished?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, my sister.
Listen, I bury my stuff in the bed itself. Like I'll dig the dirt up and bury the food and stuff that it's my compost, and let it rot in the ground. Is that okay?
Yeah, well, it's covered, and is it if you dig it deep enough and you're putting it in the ground, yes. But again, anything, although you're digging it and putting it there, is it very close to the house though?
No.
Yeah. So what's
all
close to the
the
house?
way in the back of the yard. It's all the way in the back of the yard.
Yeah, so that should be fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Dr. Ephraim has her hand up. While she's coming, there's a question in the chat about just simply using bleach to clean her toilet or his toilet.
I answered that.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I just told them about the toxic effect of the bleach.
Okay. And Dr. Ephraim, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to say something about compost, because I think sometimes we're thinking we just throw things in the compost barrel or whatever we have or bin. The thing is, we have to balance the compost that we're putting in. We have to make sure that we have our browns and we have our greens. We have our nitrate and we have our carbons. Because when we do it that way, it will never have a smell. But if we're doing it and we're just throwing things, and just throwing everything, and we're not creating that balance, then that is why it would, have the stench that you can smell the compost bin. Your compost bin should not smell if you do it the right way. There is also a little mixture that you could mix and spray on it. When I say spray on it, not to wet it down, but you do that so that when the compost is ready for your garden, it's nice and rich. So these are just some things for us to keep in mind.
Sorry, Dr. Ephraim, you said you can mix what?
I said there is also a little tonic that you can mix, that you can put together and spray over the compost as well. You just do it as a mix, use the mix sprayer and spray it over the compost. And so that when it breaks down, you would not have, you'd have a very good, healthy compost that you can put in your garden. But I think sometimes what we're doing, we're throwing things and we're not throwing things with a balance. We're just throwing things because we have, we have our vegetables, we have our fruit skin, and we just throw them out. We have to put some browns in. So normally you can get things like the husk of the coconut, some sawdust, things like that. You need some browns in there to balance it, especially if you're doing it for your garden.
That was very informative. And you said the tonic, is it a special mixture? Do you buy it?
If I tell you what it is, the beer that people love to drink, drink those things. If you put a half a can of that beer And the Coca-Cola that people love to drink, not the diet one, you put a half a can of that with a little dish soap, about a half a cup, and you
Mhm.
make that tonic and you put it in a little sprayer and you just spray it over the compost. You're not going to wet it down so it sogs. That's why I use a mister. So you just get, a light spray. And that will help everything to decompose and you get a nice healthy compost for your garden.
Well, that's very good to know. Thank you.